Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with our Perry Miniatures plastic model reviews, and I'm doing the Agincourt mounted knights from 1415 to 1429. This has 12 mounted figures in it. We're going to go over that a little bit, but I think that's a misnomer, so we'll figure something out. I'll explain what I'm talking about when I get there. But it's got a beautiful picture of knights on the front, like you didn't already know what a knight was. Gives you an actual size figure, so that's good. A lot of boxes don't do that. I like Perry models because they do give you have a good idea how big the models will be. And then on the back, it shows you like the generic putting them together, but I'm sure you would be able to figure this out with no problem. And then a couple of different colors and styles, and it does come with unit bases and banners. All right, so let's go ahead and open the box and check it out. First thing I want to point out is it does come with a slightly different base size set of bases. For the Renedra bases are for infantry, and that would be one of these guys, are normally 15 millimeters wide by 20 millimeters deep, so they're rectangles. And so if you put three of them side by side, you'd get this 45 millimeter by 20 millimeter base. So you would get 3 infantry on that. And then if you had something like this, you would get 6 figures, because you get 3 there and 3 in 2 ranks. And these would all be like 3 individual ranks, and this would be 2 and 1 rank. These are all infantry, and these here are a little bit larger for cavalry. So I don't plan to use any of this. I plan to use Warlord Games Hail Caesar for my Agincourt project, and so I'm going to be using 40 by 40 for my infantry, and I'm going to be using 50 by 50 for my cavalry. All right, so let me set these off to the side. It does come with a pamphlet on how to put them together and a bunch of armorial banners for different knights, which I think is very cool, and we'll go over that here in just a minute. But let's actually take a look at the sprues. Okay, so this is the human sprues, but it also has some horse heads on there. So, and it has the legs. So let's just set this off to the side, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so here are the horse sprues, right? These are all one side of the sprue, and this is the other side of the sprue. So both of these put together, you'll be able to form 6 horses. And then 2 more of these plus 2 more of these, you'll be able to get 6 more horses. These horses, that's where they get the 12 models in the box, is because a knight on a horse, you need a horse, so you're going to have 12 knights. We're going to go ahead and zoom in on these horse models here in just a second, so you get a chance to see what all that looks like. But I just want to kind of point out some numbers. Okay, so now these guys here, these sprues all appear to be exactly the same. So if I were to stack them, yeah, these 3 sprues are exactly the same. So anything you see on one sprue, just multiply that by 3. Okay, so what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. That's times 3. That is not 12. That's 18. Because 2 of these would have made 12. How many bodies do you get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I get 12 different bodies on each sprue. So you're looking at now, if So the limiting factor here is the legs, right? So let's just back up and say it's the legs. So we have 18 knights, but we only have 12 horses. So that leaves me with 6 knights, or one of these sprues, without horses. If you were able to, or already possess, 6 medieval horses, like you could go to Front Rank Games or whatever and just buy individual horses if you want. If you get 6 more horses, that's all you need, because you've already got the knights that can just sit on the back. So you actually get enough. You get more riders than you do horses. Now, looking at these horses, I'm not seeing anything on the horses that definitely make them medieval. I mean, except for maybe the saddle. Yeah, the saddle makes them more medieval. Okay, so because I was thinking, I've got a ton of Napoleonic horses that I haven't used, and I've got a ton of American War of Independence horses that I haven't used, but it looks like the saddle is actually where the issue might be. So I might have to order some individual medieval horses, maybe from Front Rank, just to take advantage of the extra models that I've got in here. Okay, let's take a look. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and zoom in so you get to see exactly what kind of figures these are and what the kind of detail it is. All right, so I grabbed one of the knightly sprues and I pulled it up. Now you do see there's a few heads here. These are alternatives to what you get on these sprues, because this has barding on the head of the horse. That's pretty cool. You got little feathers you can add. These are chain skirts that can go on the hip of the horse or the neck of the horse. You can actually put plate barding on there. And then this is a second armored horse head. That's if you want to make 2 of your horses extremely armored. Now remember, I've only got 12 horses and I've got 3 of these sprues, so I could make 6 of my horses extremely armored. It's heavy armored. Okay, let's take a look at some of these legs. Looks good. That guy's an archer, you know. And then this guy's also an archer, but his bow is wrapped up for the weather, you know, and so is his arrows. His arrows are wrapped up; they're bundled up for the rain. As you know, at Agincourt it did rain. Okay, here's a couple of sword sheaths right here, like 3 of them. That's a good touch, because your knights might have swords out in their hands, and if that's the case, you don't want to give them, like this guy right here, you don't want to give them a sword sheath with a sword in it if they've already drew their sword out. That's a good touch. Different helmet visor styles depending on what you want to use. They got the curved shield. I can't remember what kind of shields these are called, but the curve goes towards the enemy. That's actually the back side or the grip side of the shield. This is the part that faces the enemy. Now, most of these guys, like this guy, he's already got a visor down, so you don't need to add a visor to him. Okay. Like this guy, he's already got a visor down as well. Now, I noticed they're giving these laurel wreaths on here, but that only applies... Those only apply to the English knights, but this box is generic. It goes English and French, or any other nation from the Europe that you want to use. I like those long sleeves. Exposed armor. Warhammer. Looks like there's a wrist right there. The hand is cut off at the wrist so that you could glue it to maybe this arm right here where he has no, or this arm, or this one, you know, where they don't have a hand. Okay, let's look at the front of these legs. Look at the detail. That's freaking great. And look at the back of this armor right there. Try to take it slow so you get a chance to see, and try to stay in focus as much as possible, you know. He's got his straps on his back. right where they belong. He's got his Agincourt being strapped down to his armor. And then they got these guys with these curved swords. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that's for the Crusades. I don't know. But these are lances. So you've got 5 lances right here. And another one right there. So you're looking at, you can give all 6 of them lances if you want. You can also make these lances into like standard bearers for your command stands. Just put their banner at the end of the lance. Okay, I'm going to have to take a look at what is that. That's an arm and a sleeve. Okay, that's one of those real long sleeves that I wear in the SCA. Angel wings is what we call them. There's the horse's nuts hanging down. No, that's just, I'm just kidding. All right, these guys got a lot of detail on them. I'm really happy. These guys probably have the best detail out of all the Perry that I've looked at so far. Okay, let me look at the horses. A horse is a horse is a horse, of course. Of course he's a horse. Okay, you might not be able to see this on camera, but there is a little bit of a texture, just very subtle plastic texture. You can see it with the lighting. Very subtle texture. That's beautiful for horses because they have hair. They're just not leather. But it's so subtle you would never even really, nobody will even notice unless you use like flat paints, which I do on everything. They break up the seam. They put like the harness that goes across the body, and that's where the horse head will attach to. So it'll look, the seam that you would normally see on a horse, you won't, because it'll look like it's part of the harness's shadow or whatever. I thought that was pretty subtle. And the horse heads aren't square or flat. They actually are beveled, so they'll fit inside there. That's kind of a cool touch, actually, I think. Okay. This guy's got some armor, but he's also, look at the detail, or I should say, how pronounced that harness is on that body. And you can actually see the eye of the horse. The harnesses are like pronounced out the wazoo, so you should be able to paint those pretty good. Okay. All right, so I'm giving the models a 10 out of 10. This is probably the best Perry set I've seen so far. But now let's take a look at this pamphlet that comes with it. Ideas for figure assembly. It's not a definitive like you have to do it this way. They give you enough material on the sprues to mix and match and make your own ideas and just put them together. English knights, men-at-arms, even from like the 1390s, French or German knights, sergeants, an English knight wearing a decorative orlay, which I just call it a wreath, mounted English archers, lances down, lances up, you know, the feather, that thing that I said was the horse's balls is actually the feather that goes on your helmet. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool ideas there. Let's continue to stay on the outside. These are French armorial banners. You've got all these guys. Yeah. Look at that. They got some good ones. And then on the inside, believe it or not, there's a few English ones, but they're giving you German ones. So if you wanted to have some German mounted knights, you certainly can. Von Krottendorf. Now, I don't know. They're probably not at Agincourt, so I probably won't be using them, but I might use them anyway just for color. and, you know, I don't know. And see, this is the piece that you can put on the butt, and then you can put here. Those are those extra chainmail pieces that you saw pointed out. The Plantagenets, so you can actually do the War of the Roses. Yeah, these are good. All right, guys, thanks for coming out and checking out this Perry Miniature review of their Agincourt mounted knights. I'm continuing on with my Agincourt project, doing other reviews of other Perry models and Warlord models actually as well, and probably get some front rank in and do some reviews on that. I'm doing some reviews on some buildings, so be sure to come back and check out all my Agincourt project, and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified when I upload stuff, make sure you hit the little bell icon so you can get notifications. All right, guys, I'll catch you next time.